We have found this Ankara Turkish buffet restaurant that has a 100% halal buffet menu, and it's just like 100 meters away from our apartment, so that's awesome. That is how it looks like. There's the buffet spread over there. I'll show you what the buffet spread is. So basically you come in, you pay 99 kroners for lunch, which is up to 5 p.m. And then for dinner it's 129 kroners. I'm assuming it will be a different menu for dinner. But otherwise it's all you can eat buffet, and the spread looks quite good. So this is the spread. You have pizzas, you have pastas, you have salads over there, and you have meats. Two kinds of rice. Happy, mommy? This is the other side. So you have salads. It is 6 p.m. and after a short nap earlier, we decided to go out again and do just a little bit of exploring around this area. We got very nice souvenirs from this Copenhagen Tea House, which has been around since 1889. Even though it's still bright, a lot of shops still kind of follow regular timing, meaning they close at 5. So for those of us who are very familiar and used to shops closing at around 9, this could be a bit of a culture shock. We are here in Strøget Street, which is the main shopping street, as you can see behind me. So we're gonna go that way tomorrow. Today we're gonna walk eastwards, and this is how it looks like. Still a lot of people up and around at 6 p.m. So probably the workday is just done. We are going to this tower, circle tower. So it goes round and round all the way to the top. And then you can see all of Copenhagen from up there. So it's 80 kroner for two of us, 40 each for an adult. And it's just a long spiral tower. It goes round and round all the way up. Every now and then you can always take a break at these window bay seats and have a look out the window. It's actually a good tip for those who are planning to come here to go later in the evening when it's a lot less crowded and there's not many people around. This spiral tower was built in the 1600s, completed in 1642. It was originally designed as an observatory for the university that was right across the street. So back in the 1600s, this was actually the premier place to study stars and astronomy. And the latest use for this place is actually a concert hall and an observation tower right at the top for tourists and visitors. If I were to lay the camera level, this is how steep it goes from down there. And then if I pan around, you can see how steep it is. It's not very high, it's about 35 meters from ground level right up to the top of the tower. But it's still pretty impressive because it still towers over the surrounding buildings here. We are halfway up the tower and it actually connects to an annex building, which is the university library back in the 1800s until it closed down because it was running out of space. So right now they have used it to house exhibitions or artworks and installations by local artists from the art schools here. But the great thing is, it also has a nice resting area where you can buy pretty good and cheap coffee, freshly ground beans from the machine there, and it has a very nice view. The last bit is so narrow that you have to time it so that you have to take turns going up. So they've devised this system where if it's red you don't go up, and it's green you do. We've made it to the top.
Sorry, this entrance is right.
So it gives you a 360-degree view of the whole city of Copenhagen. The top here, the absolute highest point, it's an observatory. Yeah, so see, this is the observatory. They still use it, and it's still operational. You can see the manual winches there that open up the roof. It is the 12th of June, Wednesday here in Copenhagen. We started the day a bit later today because we had brunch at home, and so now we are heading to the National Museum of Denmark. It's very windy today. The weather's about 12 degrees, but the wind makes it much colder than that. We have made it to the National Museum of Denmark. So it's along this very quiet street just outside the city center itself. The plan today is to be here, probably gonna spend an hour or two, and then we are gonna head to Nyhavn, the famous colorful harbour house that's about, I think, a kilometer away. I think of the museum.
It's a very huge collection.
Yeah.
And it's very, I think it will take about at least half a day
At least.
to go through
If
everything.
you are going to read every single inscription, then it probably take you through the day.
That's nice.
So the central spine of the museum has this covered walkway because it goes through the garden in the center of the building. So what you see all around is actually the museum. So it's a it's a rectangular building, and there's this garden in the middle. So this is the Christianborg Palace, which belongs to the second king. The grand parade square for the palace. Just a few short minutes away from the Christianborg Palace, I found this pizza place called Fiami, and we have just gotten for ourselves pizza and a pesto pasta. Is it nice?
Nice.
Yep. So we're gonna have lunch, and then after this we're gonna head down to Nyhavn. So we just had lunch over there at Fiami, and as we were eating, we realized that Copenhagen is the birthplace of Lego. So just a few steps away, we came to the Lego flagship store here in Copenhagen and Ikil. Look, we got some gifts, and then you and Abang will get to share one each. We are here in this mall called Ilum, and the reason why we went in is because from outside we saw a signboard that says Muji. So we are big fans of the Muji brand, so we wanted to see if the stores here have things which are different from what we see back home. Look at how suddenly sunny it got. It's ridiculous. So pretty. We've walked till the end of Stroget, and at the end of Stroget would be the start of Nyhavn Harbor. Oh, it's so pretty. In case you're wondering what that is, it's the smell of weed. It's so strong in the air. It is technically not legal in Denmark, but just a few hundred meters away over at Christiania, which is a self-rule community, weed is apparently legal, but it's probably made its way here because you can smell it. It's quite strong in the air. It's just rows and rows and rows of restaurants and cafes. It's nice, but it feels ultra touristy. So, nah, we'll probably get coffee somewhere else. It is our last full day here in Copenhagen before we head back to Singapore, and we are starting the day right beside our apartment, the Torhavn, which is the food hall, food market. So in Copenhagen you have all these food halls that have vendors of different kinds selling either fresh food or stuff that you can get either to eat here or to take away. But there are also things like stuff that you can buy as souvenirs, so things like chocolates like this. So it's pretty cool. And there are two halls, so we're gonna see the other one after this. Nasty cookie. So in between these two halls, there's the fresh food market, where you have all manners of fresh produce, including meats, vegetables, even flowers. And then there's the other hall at the other end. So the second hall is a bit different. Instead of fresh food, it's more market-like. So they have butcheries and fresh seafood and stores selling utensils for the kitchen. Lots and lots of cheese shops. There's even an Asian market here, so you can get your Asian spices and condiments. We are on the Christiansborg Island, and the plan now is to head to the War Museum. So I think that should be pretty interesting. There will be exhibits on not just the wars in Europe, but also globally. Okay, so we've got our tickets. It's 190 Danish kroner for the two of us, 95 for each adult. So as you come in, you are immediately greeted by the museum shop behind me, and the museum will be that way. There's a drone up there, and this is an actual vehicle that was struck by a drone. You can see the impact there. it tore the roof clean. So as part of the experience here, they let you don maritime uniforms, complete with wigs and a hat. And then you're supposed to take a photo with the rest of your crewmates right here. So do I look the part? Not too bad, hey? So this is how I look like with long hair. And a very good and decent collection. 500 years worth of history from medieval age all the way up to the present. So this is the tank. It is not a replica. It's an actual tank that has been decommissioned, a Leopard. So I believe we have these tanks as well in Singapore's arsenal. It's a very skilled captain to do this. The plan right now is we are going to walk through Stroget one last time and head down eastwards towards Christianborg Palace, where we're gonna see the King's Garden, and subsequently we're gonna make our way back slowly to the apartment to start packing up for tomorrow. We have made it to the King's Garden. So this is set in the palace grounds and it's a huge garden. As you can see, built and ready by the 17th century, so it's about 400 years old. And at the end of the garden there would be Christianborg Palace. So we are making our way slowly there. Dotted along this garden itself are artworks and installations. It was actually raining 10 minutes ago, and then 5 minutes ago it was sunny and hot. So Danish weather really can get very interesting. That's Mummy. That's the castle behind us. But unfortunately we can't go in anymore because it's after 5 PM. But it's fine. It's just as beautiful being out here. Had a good holiday?
Yeah.
So we decided that the last thing we're gonna do in Copenhagen is to have one last coffee before we head back to the apartment. So we are at this very cute cafe called 20 Grams. It's a very interesting cafe. Let me just show you around. It's not a very big cafe. I think there's literally like only 11 tables here, so you have very limited seating, but I guess that adds to the charm and queen of the place. So we're waiting for our waffles right now because we wanted to get something a bit warmer and not just cold cakes. And I think it's here. We can do this. Bye, Copenhagen. Thanks for having us. We have just checked into the airport and cleared immigration. So we have now got an hour to kill before we board our flight, which leaves at 12 o'clock. That's about the end of our trip. Ami, you want to add anything? No? Okay, otherwise we will end the video here. This ends this series of vlogs for our Scandinavian trip. So just to recap, there won't be a December trip this year for me, as I'll be starting a new job. So that's it. We'll see you when we get back to Singapore.